you very much. Good morning. Thank you very much for the invitation, which is very, very overwhelming because I have to say that I don't have many smart things to say to an audience such as this. Even my role here and my role at the Oceano Azul Foundation is basically trying to inspire people like you to become entrepreneurs. Is basically trying to transform your research and your science into market solutions, because that's the only way we think that we will really change the world. Let me tell you a little bit about the Oceano Azul Foundation, which you will meet tomorrow. You will visit tomorrow and get to know a little bit more, and share with you two basic ideas that we are trying to make something out of them. So the Oceano Azul Foundation was created 2 years ago. We are a startup. I was honored to be invited to the four-member team that created the foundation. It was the most rich period of my life. They invited the three of us, Tiago, who is the CEO, Emmanuel Gonçalves, who is one of our board members, and myself, together with the CEO of the Lisbon Oceanarium. They gave us a blank sheet, 5 million euros per year to create a new foundation with just one goal: protect the oceans. Well, we do that through our conservation programs. This is basically about protecting what is still there. We do that through marine protected areas, which are the result of scientific expeditions, scientific reports that we sponsor, that we lead, and that are the base of the information for politicians to take decisions on protecting special maritime ecosystems, marine ecosystems. One of our best examples, of which we are very proud, was the recent decision of the regional government from the Azores to protect 15% of their maritime area. This is huge. This is huge because this is clearly above the average of marine protected areas all over the world. This is huge because the Azores is a unique or a set of unique ecosystems in the oceans, and this is huge because it represents more than 4% of the European maritime area. So one single decision of a regional government in the Azores has a huge impact on protecting more than 4% of the European maritime area. So this is real impact. You scientists have a real impact. You know, my 7-year-old kid, he wants to be a scientist. He wants to be a scientist because my easy answer to all of his questions is, whenever he asks me for very expensive toys or very difficult things that don't exist, I always tell him, you can create them yourself. Just study, become a scientist, and you can create whatever you want. So he's very, very sure to become a scientist and create very expensive toys without needing my money to do it, which I'm very happy as well. We do that through sustainable fisheries. We work with the fishers so they can fish better and earn more money. And by fishing better, there are several models, scientific backed models, that clearly show that if they fish less, they protect their resources. If the resources grow more, they will earn more money and they will go less times to the sea, which is critical for them because each time they go to the sea, they are putting their lives into risk. So there are several initiatives that we are doing on sustainable fisheries that are also very, very interesting and also always for us scientific based. We do that through our literacy programs. Our highlight is, of course, the Lisbon Oceanarium, which you will visit tomorrow. The Lisbon Oceanarium celebrated 20 years last year, and 2 weeks ago we celebrated 25 million visitors from all over the world. This means that we are teaching the importance of the ocean to 25 million different people all over the world, which will share with their families, with their friends, once they feel inspired by us. So that's our job, and we really hope to inspire you as well tomorrow. We do that in schools, teaching the importance of oceans to kids from 6 years old to 10 years old. We are changing the official curriculum. We are teaching their teachers to teach them about the importance of the ocean. You know, here in Portugal, we learn in schools the importance of trees for the air we breathe. We don't learn that the oxygen, 50% of the oxygen we breathe is coming from the sea. We learn about mountains, we don't learn about seabed mountains or sea mountains. We don't know what are mangroves. We don't learn anything about the oceans and their importance to our way of living, actually. And so basically for us was very clear that people won't protect one thing if they don't know, if they are not aware of the importance of it. So that's our literacy part, among many other initiatives. And we protect the oceans through the economy. That's what I'm going to talk a little bit about today. Soon, when we were creating, we had this blank sheet in our front to create the foundation, we gathered a set of 50-something specialists from all over the world, scientists like you guys, to help us decide what would be important, what could a new foundation dedicated to ocean preservation do different than the others. And one idea was very clear since the beginning. We needed to act on the economy, because no one was doing that, and we wouldn't win the conservation war unless we would change the economic models in which our societies are based. So we're trying to do that through mainly two different ways. One, bring value to the natural capital that we are all using. We are basically using natural resources for free. We are using ecosystem services for free. We are not paying. More, we are provoking damage to these ecosystems, and we are not paying for that. The way people wouldn't pay for labor in the 19th century. They would use a huge resource, which was human labor, for free. That's why everything was so cheap. Once you incorporate value of these resources we are using, people will have a chance of making the right decision. You know, people often say, why are sustainable solutions more expensive than regular ones? Why should I buy anything that is sustainable if it's more expensive? Sorry, I cannot do that. I don't have the budget to do that. And I always tell them exactly that. One, they are cheaper because they are not paying, and the sustainable solutions do not have the value they should have. And two, technology, which, by the way, is a result of scientific knowledge, will help and very quickly change that relation. We have very many examples. For instance, solar energy 5 years ago, which was much more expensive to produce than it is today. You know, Portugal broke a new record this August, producing electricity without the use of coal. We have two main factories of coal in Portugal that produce electricity, and they were shut down for more than 30 days. Why? Because the carbon emissions that they had to pay in August was so expensive that it was cheaper to buy electricity from natural gas than from coal. That is the economic model we are trying to boost here, bring value to the natural capital. And second, which is what is this Blue BioValue program about, is about supporting a new economic model, a new blue bioeconomy. Why? Because this bioeconomy is the economic model that is intrinsically sustainable. I cannot find an easier word to say this. But why is this? Well, because they break the dependence on natural resources, and they stop the harm the economic models that we live today are doing to the environment. They learn from nature, they mimic in the labs, like you all do, and they actually are a very good business model, because once they do that, they have access to their raw material for forever and for free. Well, we did our homework and to understand how we could support this blue bioeconomy, science-based, knowledge-based technology transform into market solutions, and we discovered basically three things. One, there are very few companies, but there is lots of knowledge. Actually, Portugal is in the top ranking of scientific papers published related to biotech, either by Portuguese scientists or groups in the European Research Council, for example, that have Portuguese scientists. But we are in the bottom of the table once we see the patents registered and intellectual property registered out of that scientific knowledge. So we have the knowledge, but we don't have the market solutions. We have to close this gap. The second thing we discovered was, well, the few companies that exist, they lack the management skills. Of course, they are scientists, they are chemists, they are biologists, they are not entrepreneurs, they are not managers. And that is fine, because that's the easy part. The difficult part is what you're doing, is the technology and the scientific knowledge. The management skills are very easy for you to acquire or for you to hire. And third, we discovered, well, we knew this already, that marginally no investment is being channeled into these companies. But we also think that that's because there are very few companies, and the ones that exist, they lack the management skills. They lack the skills to grow, to scale their companies, and to give confidence to investors. Scientists and investors, they don't know how to talk with each other. And that's what we're trying to break, their differences in language. You know, the scientist wants to share what he's doing in the lab, the technology, the amazing technology that he discovered, and the investor just wants to know how much money will he earn from that. The Blue Bio Value is an entrepreneurship, if you want, an entrepreneurship program focused exclusively on the blue bioeconomy. We are working with universities, trying to transform the ideas that are in the universities, in the research centers, in the research thesis that scientists are leading, and trying to see what can be transformed into a market solution, into a product, into a service that people will buy, will scale, and will change the world. You know, the guys that are going to the Web Summit in 1 month, the tech companies, the tech startups, are not the special guys. Everyone is putting money into their hands. But yeah, they are making our life much easier, for sure. But you guys have the power to make our life much better. So the potential is infinite times greater. The second phase we are doing with this entrepreneurship program that we just kicked off, I'm coming from the kickoff session, is an acceleration program. We pick startups or projects that are already close to market, and basically they take 1 month's MBA applied to their specific business and try to understand how they can grow, how they can scale. We partner with several entities that have the methodology to do that. They have the contents. We partner with venture capital firms, with an amazing list of more than 40 mentors from all over the world and specialists in different areas that are working with these companies. Today we are accelerating 15 startups that we chose among more than 100 applications, and that we hope in the end of this month will be able to scale their product and make their solutions available to more and more people. That's the way we really believe we can change the world and we can protect the oceans. I can give you a few examples for you to understand what we're talking about. We have companies that are doing bioremediation, thus avoiding ocean contamination. We have companies that are making skincare products, cosmetic products based on algae. So basically, these are natural products that and the raw material they use is actually decarbonizing. So for us, it's an amazing opportunity. We have companies, for instance, for example, one that I like very much, we have one company coming from Switzerland that used to be a lobster aquaculture firm. They would grow lobsters and sell the flesh, sell the meat. Today, they are making more money with the shells of the lobsters than with the meat, because they discovered they were approached by clients that wanted to buy the shells that the lobsters live naturally at least once a year. They didn't know why, but okay, they were selling this bioresource, this byproduct of their production. And they wanted to understand why. They found out that it was very rich in chitin, and so they hired the scientists. They needed to transform the shells into the product that their clients were doing and were needing, and they are now making more money with the shells and with the chitin than they are making with the flesh and with the meat. One Portuguese company that I like very much to give this example, there are a few projects that I saw downstairs about oil spill and fouling. This company was born from a guy that was diving in Sagres, and he discovered a very strange rock that was completely clean among all the other rocks that were full of fouling, full of algae, full of crustaceans, whatever, what is natural to see. And he found that very strange. He went back 1 month after, and the rock was the same. And 1 month again, and the rock was the same. So he went there with a little knife, he took a sample, and he discovered that there was a bacteria that was basically sending all the fouling back. Algae didn't want nothing to do with that bacteria, nor did crustaceans. So he developed an additive to maritime paints, which he will now sell to the world global players that are producing vessel paints, thus avoiding fouling in the ships. And for the investor to understand, they spend much less money in fuel and of course in maintenance of the ships. So this is the kind of things that we are looking for, scientific knowledge-based technology that we can help transform into market solutions. This is Blue BioValue, and this is for us, the Oceano Azul Foundation, the way we see we can really change the world and change the planet and protect the planet. You know, we are, the 21st century, it's pretty obvious now, will be the century of the planet, the century of the environment. People, if given the chance, they will choose a more sustainable solution instead of a more harmful solution. So it's up to us to create those solutions and take them to market. You know, the majority of people that become vegetarian, they do that because of the environment. They take a huge decision on their health, on their body, on their lives because of the environment. This tells us a lot. We don't think about this, but people, they make decisions on their body, on their health, based on the environment. So the potential is actually there. The demand is there. Taxes and positive and negative incentives for the more harmful solutions are there. So the timing is now to transform the scientific knowledge that you have into startups, into market solutions, and the Oceano Azul Foundation is here for you. Let me show you a quick movie on last year's edition, the first edition of the Blue BioValue Acceleration Program, for you to understand better what we're talking about.
A questão da biotecnologia marinha, dos biorrecursos marinhos, é muito importante porque é uma forma de com mais inteligência, através da investigação científica, da tecnologia, conseguirmos, de alguma maneira, trazer mais valores dos oceanos.
Notre ambition, c'est de remplacer naturellement tout type de plastique utilisable et jetable.
Pensamos que con vosotros podemos conseguir convertir nuestro sueño en realidad, ser una empresa e introducirnos en el mercado.
So precision, consistency, preparation, efficiency, I think, in my view, are the most important ingredients of being a leader.
We're talking about, what is beyond aquaculture. Aquaculture, it's boring. Even if you have a very interesting concept, it's not what you want to sell. What you want to sell is, I'm going to feed the world.
Well, I'm a scientist, so I don't know much about business. That's why I'm here, to follow the bootcamp and learn something about doing business.
O que nós sentimos é que há muito conhecimento nesta área, muitas instituições dedicadas à investigação. O panorama, desse ponto de vista, é rico, mas falta dar o salto de ligar a investigação e a academia ao mercado.
Después de todos estos días de duro trabajo, de formación, pues al final ves recompensado ese trabajo, porque estamos terminando de preparar nuestro pitch y da la impresión de que se ha quedado ya como algo profesional.
Yes, we are more than happy for coming here because this is really helpful for us, especially at this stage. And also we got to meet few potential investors, and one of them is very interested. So we're really happy. This is taking us to the next level.
The price is amazing because 15,000 euros for a startup is a huge amount.
Estarmos num programa que está a desenvolver o empreendedorismo na área do mar e na área da biotecnologia e ser reconhecido nesse programa como uma startup inovadora e uma startup espetacular é brutal.
Ao início nunca nos passou pela cabeça que fosse tão importante para nós, para o negócio e para aquilo que nós crescemos e aprendemos ao longo do tempo todo. O prémio é simplesmente um reconhecimento que os outros também reconheceram isso em nós.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miguel. Really, it was very, very rich, inspiring. Your enthusiasm and all of the information that you have provided, I'm sure, will drive quite a few people to new perspectives. I have one question. Time for one question? Okay. Sorry.
Thank you very much. I'm so happy
and so glad to have this opportunity and this conference. Thank you very much. As you have explained what is really the bio-future for Mediterranean. And my question is about if setting startup for young researcher. If you just said that you have approximately for 1 month about how many startup you 15. You finance really this startup, or it's only for how to set?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, well, we do finance in cash, which is basically in the end we can say that we will open many doors for them, we will open our network for them and do everything we can for them to grow, but in the end these startups and these companies need investment. So we have 3 ways of supporting financially. One is we give up to 7,500 euros per team to be here 1 month with us, just to help with accommodation and transport costs. The best startups can be awarded with a 45,000 euros prize in the end, and the best startups are the ones that have the more potential, and the ones that commit more with the program and evaluate more during this 1 month and 1 week with us. The jury is composed by the promoters, by partners, and by Miguel Marques, who you will meet after me. And yes, the foundation is creating, it's not ready yet, but will very soon create an investment vehicle to support these companies. We are always, it's clear for us that we have to put our money or more money. We are already investing more than 1 million euros creating this. But yes, we will support them financially because in the end it's what they need.
Okay, are there any very fast questions? Otherwise, one. Okay, the last one.
Hello, you are mentioning the pricing of natural resources. Do you have any idea of how to make this pricing? Because, for instance, if we think about carbon tax, this is already a big issue and it's quite easy to quantify fossil fuels. But what about the natural resources? I mean, at the beginning you were saying that might be a strong issue to promote biotechnology. So what are the ideas?
Okay. Well, the straight answer is no, I don't. I'm not a scientist. But we are supporting scientists and specialists from economical schools and scientists to help us define what would be a model to price the natural and the ecosystem services. It's not easy. It's actually very difficult, but we really think it's the way. You know, nature today, we changed completely the paradigm. Hundreds of years ago, we were very, very small and nature was huge. It was a real threat to us. It was impossible for us to have any direct impact on nature. We would have to protect ourselves from it. Now it's quite the opposite. Nature is very small and we are very big. We have a direct impact on all our actions. We have a direct impact on nature. So, like everything that is scarce, it has a value, and it will have more and more a value. We just have to find out what is the way of valuing it, and transform that into an economic model. We don't have the answers yet, but we are supporting specialists from all over the world that are studying that with us. Okay.
You will say with us, please, because we still have a time, and I'm sure people want to ask you so many things. So,
thank you.